Good morning, Imperial citizens. I'm Angela, and you're watching Hobby Night. This week on Warhammer News, we're going to stop by 40k with those new terrain rules, as well as Age of Sigmar with the Sons of Behemat, and we're going to take a peek at GW's past at a revival of an old board game. So let's go ahead and grab our las guns and get straight to the news. It's looking like the next Age of Sigmar faction will be the Giants, the Sons of Behemat. And we got these guys previewed at, I think actually the beginning of quarantine months ago and everything, and we hadn't really heard anything since up until recently, where they announced Gargant and his ability where you can reroll attacks if you choose to go last, which is really, really cool. So I think that means we might be seeing them come around in 2020 still. And the other reason for that is because with Blackstone Library, we also, or Black Library, sorry, not Blackstone Library, but the Black Library, we also got the pre-order announcement going up on October 10th for a story for Age of Sigmar that focuses around the Sons of Behemat. So since GW likes to group their releases with things, I'm wondering if with this book, are we going to see the Giants come out in October? It'd be interesting because we have a whole lot of releases set up for October already between the codexes on 40k for Necrons and the Space Marines, as well as all of the kits that are probably going to be coming with that, let alone the data cards and all that stuff. But it'll be really cool if we see them this October or even in November. So I'm hoping we'll see those soon. The minis absolutely look gorgeous. And also, there was one other thing that kind of maybe is making some people think a little bit that the Giants are also coming, because at the end of this month's White Dwarf, they previewed the Glog's Mega Mob. Now, some people are thinking maybe that is also one of the other Giants names or something like that. I think it sounds a little bit more like orcs, but we'll find out next month, and we'll see what is coming. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about tactical deployment. So, this is the new terrain stuff that GW has been announcing for us, a bunch of new rules, which we don't have a whole lot of details on, but they previewed some stuff, and let's go over that real quickly. So what is tactical deployment? It's when both players bring an equal amount of terrain, basically equal points amount, just like you would your army. It seems like they're designing it for larger scale tournaments, trying to make it maybe easier for the tournament runners, not having to provide as much of their own terrain, that kind of thing, and having players provide it for them and just making things maybe go more smoothly. But I don't know if it's gonna quite work that way. And let's kind of get into that. One, I feel like this is gonna double the investment for players. We already spend a ton of money on buying our armies, and now we're being expected to buy a bunch of the terrain kits, which, don't get me wrong, they provide a lot of these terrain pieces and stuff through a lot of their starter sets, as well as some of their bigger box sets on occasion, and a lot of people do tend to pick those up, but not everybody does, and some people just have no interest in doing anything with the terrain, painting it, assembling it, or any of that. So this is expecting a lot of your tournament players, as well as your casual fans, to invest a lot of time and energy and money into stuff that they may not otherwise be interested in actually using or specifically running or anything like that. Because they did talk about like being able to customize the terrain to match your own army and everything, and be thematic and give you tactical advantage and everything. I just don't know if that's gonna be worth the investment players are gonna have to make everything tournament legal, let alone just the purchasing that you'd have to do for that. Because we already buy so much plastic, now we're gonna have to buy even more. And it seems especially odd because GW seems to be trying to focus on smaller, quicker battles, and yet having the same investment in plastic, I mean, it's a business, right? They want to be able to make sure they're getting their same amount of money and everything, so I suppose that makes sense. But it seems very odd, and I don't know how I feel about these rules. The other thing that I don't quite like about where this is going as of right now is almost all of the modern terrain is Imperial. And I mean, that works for a lot of factions and everything, but we have Necrons coming out, and we don't have anything, like any information about any Necron terrain or any other Xeno terrain for that matter. And we don't even get that much Chaos terrain. And I'm not talking like Chaos Space Marine terrain, because that is just kind of modified Imperium sometimes. I'm talking like demon terrain. Like, where is that kind of stuff? If they want us to actually invest in terrain and have these kinds of rules and participate in this type of event where we do tactical deployments, I feel like they need to give us a broader amount of terrain to be able to pick and choose from to encourage people to actually want to buy them. Because right now, I just don't know how many people are actually going to be interested in running this. I'm kind of feeling like between the rules lawyer questions of just sizing and what about using terrain that's not GW specific in tournaments especially, like will that be allowed? Because there's tons and tons of places that make alternative terrain to be used in tournaments because it just makes it easier. So are we going to still be able to use those? Are there going to be rules for those? Are there, like, how strict are they going to be? Is this going to be something that a friendly local game store will actually be able to use in their tournaments, or will it be difficult to manage? I really don't know, but it'll be interesting to see what's happening. And I don't know if this is just going to be dead on arrival. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I like the terrain that's coming out. The 2 new Battle Zone kits that you can pre-order this weekend, they look great. I'm very excited for them, and I think for just being able to play at home, picking one of those up because they are sort of designed for the smaller scale games works really well. I just don't know if it needs to be this specific where it's a style of play and it's expected at tournaments. I just don't know if it's going to actually make things easier or if fans are going to get into it. So like I said, let me know in the comments your thoughts, because I'm very curious to see what you think. Keeping with 40K, we got a small announcement for Crusade Beyond the Veil, which is the next Crusade mission pack, and it's going to have lots of new rules, including battle scars, weapon upgrades, honors, etc. So it's looking pretty neat, and I'm definitely probably going to pick one up because Crusade is still the thing that I'm most interested in with 9th edition. Last but not least, this week in the news, we're going to take a look at a board game from GW's past. HeroQuest is back and alive, and Hasbro has it on their crowdfunding website, HasLab. You can go ahead and basically get your copy over there. They have already had $1.5 million raised of their $1 million budget, so it's definitely happening. And it's based off the original game that was designed in conjunction with Games Workshop. And it has survived this long. It's really cool to see it come back. I know a lot of people are a huge fan of the original game. I'm gonna be curious to see what a lot of those people think of this new one, because normally when they do revitalize versions of games, they're not always the same, so we'll be seeing what they're doing. I do know that they are focusing more on the traditional and less of the fantasy version of the game, and I don't actually know which one is the one that's preferred, because I've not actually played HeroQuest. It was definitely something that was, I think, well beyond when I was getting into games and everything. It had been out for a long time. I had never heard of it until much later in my life, so it's not something I'm familiar with, but I'm very curious to see what people are thinking. The thing that is kind of cool about it, though, to me, and why I am interested in at least like taking a peek at the new one and seeing what they're doing with it, is because it's going to come with 76 miniatures in total, including some terrain, and I always like miniature games. Those are always a lot of fun and everything, and it's honestly a fairly decent value for the amount of miniatures that you're getting, and it's going to be $99 for if you get the just normal base game, and then if you go in for the advanced edition, which is $149, you get an additional 2 expansions, which I think also come with some minis. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's looking really neat. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys play HeroQuest back in the day? Was it something you grew up with? Let me know in the comments about any of the things that you guys liked or disliked in the news this week, and especially that tactical deployment. It's gonna be real interesting, and I don't know where GW's going with it, so we'll see soon, hopefully, and I will see you guys in Monday's video, where you can find out exactly why I've been dressed as a soldier. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great day.